The Prime Minister's reply to the President's address in the Rajya Sabha today's big focus. The more mud you fling, the more the lotus will bloom, he says. He also defines what he says is true secularism, when people receive 100% benefits with no discrimination. The opposition shouts slogans throughout the Prime Minister's reply. India sets up a 30-bed hospital in 5 hours in Turkey. 6 relief flights from India have now reached Turkey. Latest reports say that over 19,000 people have been killed in Turkey and Syria. NDTV reports from Turkey on the scale of this human tragedy.
As you can see in the backdrop, that it's snowing here in Turkey, and that's precisely making the work of the rescue teams and the NDRF team which have been sent by India difficult, because it's snowing, it's raining.
NDTV exclusive, the Supreme Court could be at full strength soon. New Supreme Court judges are likely to be appointed in the next few days. Warrants of appointments could be issued very soon. On the campaign trail in Tripura, the BJP president releases the party manifesto today, a left Congress seat-sharing alliance and a new tribal party in the race. A blunder by Google's new AI chatbot Bard means that Alphabet shares of the parent company lose $100 billion. The Bard's bungle proves costly. And it's Cow Hug Day coming up this Valentine's. Our reporter does a reality check. Our lead story tonight, Prime Minister Modi's 90-minute reply on the motion of thanks the President addressed in the Rajya Sabha today. It was a sharply political speech leading everyone to look at Mission 2024's countdown, especially after his response to Rahul Gandhi and Mallikarjun Kharge's speeches. But in the Rajya Sabha, the opposition shouted slogans throughout the Prime Minister's speech, a standing ovation from the BJP after Mr. Modi finished his reply. The Trinamool alleged that the opposition MP's protest was blacked out on the Parliament's official TV channel, and the Congress president asked why his comments yesterday have been expunged.
ये भी दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है, इतने महत्वपूर्ण सदन में कुछ लोगों का व्यवहार, कुछ लोगों की वाणी न सिर्फ सदन को लेकिन देश को निराश करने वाली रही। इस प्रकार की वृत्ति प्रवृत्ति के माननीय सदस्यों को मैं यही कहूंगा, कीचड़ उसके पास था, कीचड़ उसके पास था, मेरे पास गुलाल। जो भी जिसके पास था उसने दिया उछाल। और अच्छा ही है, जितना कीचड़ उछालोगे कमल उतना ही ज्यादा खिलेगा। कांग्रेस के परिवार ने, हो सकता है उनका इरादा मजबूत नींव बनाने का हो, मैं उस पर कोई टिप्पणी करना नहीं चाहता, लेकिन 2014 के बाद आकर के मैंने देखा कि उन्होंने गड्ढे ही गड्ढे कर दिए थे। देश की जनता देख रही थी कि समस्या का समाधान कितना बड़ा लाभ कर सकता है, लेकिन उनकी प्रायोरिटीज अलग थी, उनके इरादे अलग थे, और उसके कारण किसी भी बात का परमानेंट सॉल्यूशन का प्रयास नहीं किया। हमारी सरकार की पहचान जो बनी है वो हमारे पुरुषार्थ के कारण बनी है। एक के बाद उठाए गए कदमों के कारण बनी हुई, और आज हम परमानेंट सॉल्यूशन की दिशा में आगे बढ़ते रहे हैं। हमें बहुत मेहनत करनी पड़ी और वो रास्ता हमने चुना है सेचुरेशन का। हर योजना के जो लाभार्थी है 100% लाभ कैसे पहुंचे, 100% लाभार्थियों को लाभ पहुंचे, बिना रोक टोक के लाभ पहुंचे। और मैं कहता हूं अगर सच्चा पंथ निरपेक्षता है तो यही है, सच्चा सेक्युलरिज्म है तो यही है। और सरकार उस राह पर बड़ी ईमानदारी के साथ चल पड़ी है। सेचुरेशन तक पहुंचने का मतलब होता है भेदभाव की सारी गुंजाइशें खत्म करना और समाज के आखिरी व्यक्ति को, जो आखिरी पंक्ति में खड़ा हुआ व्यक्ति है और महात्मा गांधी जिसकी हमेशा वकालत करते थे, उसके अधिकारों की रक्षा इसके अंदर समाहित होती है। और हम उसको सुनिश्चित करते हैं कि चलो भाई, हमसे कभी छूट जाता होगा नेहरू जी का नाम और छूट जाता होता होगा, हम ठीक भी कर लेंगे क्योंकि वो देश के पहले प्रधानमंत्री थे। लेकिन मुझे ये समझ नहीं आता है कि उनकी पीढ़ी का कोई व्यक्ति नेहरू सरनेम रखने से डरता क्यों है। क्या शर्मिंदगी है नेहरू सरनेम रखने से, क्या शर्मिंदगी है। कुछ लोगों को समझना होगा ये सदियों पुराना देश सामान्य मानवी के पसीने और पुरुषार्थ से बना हुआ देश, जन जन की पीढ़ियों की परंपरा से बना हुआ देश है। ये देश किसी परिवार की जागीर नहीं है।
The House was adjourned. After that, the Finance Minister will speak tomorrow in the Lok Sabha at 6 o'clock. Moving to the other big headline, an NDTV exclusive coming up from Sunil Prabhu. Could the Supreme Court be at full strength within the next few days? Let's go across to Sunil now. Sunil, what are you hearing?
Well, Sonia, as you correctly pointed out, the stage is set for the appointment. Once the Prime Minister's office signs on the warrants and sends it to the President, we are expecting this decision in the next few days. So they expect before the next hearing of the Supreme Court, which is hearing on the appointments of judges in the High Court and Supreme Court, the elevation of the two justices, Rajesh Bindal, as well as the Chief Justice of the Gujarat High Court, Mr. Arvind Kumar, whose parent cadre is from Karnataka, their appointment will be approved. And this will be after 2019, the full strength of the Supreme Court will be functioning. The last time, of course, was for a day on the 9th of May in 2021. But Justice Chandrachud will now have a full strength of the Supreme Court with 34 judges.
Will this bring an end to the impasse between the government and the Supreme Court over appointment of judges? Because there are still some outstanding recommendations which the Collegium has reiterated on which there's no decision yet.
Very interesting question. There will be elevation of 3 Chief Justices in the High Courts. But on the crucial 5 reiterations that have taken place from Saurabh Kripal because of his sexual orientation, the other 4 judges, 2 from Karnataka, from Calcutta, 1 from Karnataka, which is a reiteration of the 3rd time, as well as the Mumbai High Court, there is no forward movement, and that's clearly a friction point between the judiciary and the executive.
Sunil, thanks so much for that update. But let's go across to the other big story we're tracking. That, of course, is the devastation and the human tragedy after that earthquake in Turkey and Syria. Latest reports say that over 19,000 people are now estimated to have died. This as Turkey's President Erdogan has admitted shortcomings. India stepped up its rescue and relief missions. In fact, a 30-bed hospital has come up in Turkey in just 5 hours, set up by India. Let's go across first to NDTV's Tanushri Pandey, who's landed in Turkey for the latest updates.
It's snowing here in Turkey, and that's precisely making the work of the rescue teams and the NDRF team which have been sent by India difficult, because it's snowing, it's raining, and that's why the debris of the of the houses which have crumbled and reduced to rubbles, that's actually settling down, and that's why it has now become a race against time, because it's almost been more than 48 hours. And a lot of people have been also rescued alive under Operation Dost. India is one of the countries which has sent help and stepped up its aid to Turkey. It has already sent more than 5 flights with medical teams, with NDRF personnel, and all of them are on the ground doing the rescue work, and also ensuring that people in this kind of a harsh weather do not have to live on street. They can set up some kind of a medical camp for them, or some kind of a rehabilitation center or shelter for them, because the weather is extremely harsh right now in Turkey.
After nearly 48 hours of Indian aid arriving in Turkey, earthquake survivors are being treated at this Indian Army field hospital, set up in the quake-hit zone within hours of the deployment of the rescue team. More search and rescue teams, dog squads, as well as medical equipment and medicines have been sent to Turkey for assistance. As anger grows in Turkey, that poor enforcement of building regulations contributed to the collapse of many buildings in Monday's earthquakes. Over 17,000 people are now known to have died across Turkey and Syria. This as temperatures are plunging to as low as -5 degrees Celsius, and thousands of families are spending their night in cars and makeshift tents, too scared or banned from returning to their own homes.
We were caught up in the earthquake at home at 4 o'clock that night. After the earthquake, we took the children and went out onto the street. Then we went back into the house and got caught in the second earthquake. Then our neighbour told us that a tent city had been set up here, so we came here. Our tent was set up.
The massive damage caused by the earthquakes is evidently visible in these satellite images of Turkey released by Maxar. These images give an idea of the scale of the challenge for emergency crews over the coming days. In Syria, which is already ravaged by over a decade of civil war, the death toll has breached 3,000. One Indian national has been missing, the government of India has said, adding that 10 other Indian citizens are stuck in the affected region. Meanwhile, while admitting to his government's shortcomings, Turkey's president acknowledged public concern over the government's response, admitting the state initially had some problems at airports and on roads, but insisted the situation was now under control. However, as criticism mounted against the Turkish government, Twitter was restricted in Turkey. Access to Twitter has now been restored following talks between the company and Turkish authorities. As questions emerge over Turkey's preparedness, the latest estimates from the World Health Organization says up to 23 million people could be affected by this disaster. Parmeshwar Bava for NDTV.
We'll keep tracking that important story, but moving now to politics in India, where Tripura, a key state for the BJP in the northeast, is going to the elections next week. The BJP unveiled its manifesto today, saying it's a vision document and what we promise we will deliver. But the BJP is facing a huge challenge from the left Congress seat-sharing alliance and from a new party.
Ahead of crucial polls on the 16th of February, voters in Tripura's Bordowali town had an unexpected visitor, Chief Minister Dr. Manik Saha. Dr. Saha, a dentist-turned-politician, says this is the best way for him to make a direct connect with the people in his constituency.
They do not endorse this alignment. So for us it is very easy to reach our goal.
In this age of high-tech poll campaigning where mostly we see chief ministers moving around the states in choppers, here is a chief minister who believes in connecting to the voters directly through door-to-door campaign.
Dr. Saha's supporters are elated.
CM is a big leader, a big person. First time हर एक घर पे पहुंच रहा है, हर एक पब्लिक के साथ इंटरेक्ट कर रहा है और ऐसा लग रहा है कि हर एक पब्लिक के साथ एकदम अपना हो रहा है. दिल खोल के सब लोग आशीर्वाद दे रहे हैं.
Last year, the BJP had dropped Biplab Deb and in a surprise move picked Dr. Saha, who was a Rajya Sabha MP, for the top post. The elections, though, will be a tough contest, with Pradyut Dev Burman's Tripura Party making inroads in tribal areas, which the BJP hopes to counter with a manifesto that makes several promises to the tribal community. In the high-stakes battle for Tripura, the state's former royal scion, 44-year-old Pradyut Manik Dev Burman, and his 2-year-old party has emerged as a key player.
Out of the 60 seats, Tripura Party is contesting in 42 seats, but this party is seen by political watchers as one of the key factors in the Tripura elections.
This is घिसा पिटा हुआ talk about palace and no palace. The people, these are people who don't live in palaces. I first belong to them. Then, of course, I am aware of my legacy and my lineage, and that's my duty. And the first thing, a duty of a erstwhile king's grandson should do is empower his community which have been deprived, not empower himself. This is not about me, it's about them.
Pradyut's grandfather, Bir Bikram Manikya, was Tripura's last ruler between 1923 and 1947. Now, over 7 decades later, his grandson is trying to script a new chapter in Tripura's political history. While Pradyut is not contesting himself, he is the star campaigner for his party. That is primarily targeting the state's 35% tribal vote. Pradyut's party has demanded a separate state for tribals in the last 2 years. A demand the BJP says is an attempt to drive a wedge between the state's significant Bengali-speaking population and the tribals. With Sanjay Chakrabarti and Ratnadeep Chaudhary in Agartala, Bureau Report, NDTV.
And it's all about elections now, the countdown to 2024. And that's what's playing out right now on the streets of India's capital, Delhi, as it's AAP versus BJP. Now there's a furor over a so-called feedback unit set up by the AAP with the CBI investigating. And the CBI has now got sanctioned to file a charge sheet in this case against Deputy Chief Minister Manik Saha, who's hit back saying it's all a political conspiracy.
Jumping over police barricades during a protest march, the Delhi BJP chief upping the ante against Deputy Chief Minister Manik Saha. This time over a CBI report that alleges political snooping by the Aam Aadmi Party government's feedback wing.
Sources say CBI has received sanction from the competent authority to register a corruption case against Manik Saha, the Deputy Chief Minister of New Delhi. If registered, this will be the second case against Saha by CBI.
The CBI report says that the Delhi government used its feedback unit to gather information against political opponents. The Aam Aadmi Party created the unit with a secret service expenditure, the report says, soon after the party's victory in 2015. As per the CBI, the unit was tasked to gather actionable feedback and manufacture trap cases against political entities.
अरविंद केजरीवाल की सरकार भारतीय जनता पार्टी के एमपीज की जासूसी करवा रही थी, तो अरविंद केजरीवाल को ये बताना तो पड़ेगा क्या कॉम्पिटेंट अथॉरिटी से क्या कोई अनुमति ली गई है। अब दिल्ली के लेफ्टिनेंट गवर्नर ने भारत के राष्ट्रपति महोदया से ये आग्रह किया है कि इस डिपार्टमेंट के मुखिया और जो दिल्ली के डिप्टी चीफ मिनिस्टर हैं
श्री सिसोदिया, जिनके ऊपर अनेक भ्रष्टाचार के आरोप पहले भी लगाए गए हैं, उनके खिलाफ एफआईआर हो और इस मामले में कार्रवाई को आगे बढ़ाया जाए।
Calling it political vendetta, the Aam Aadmi Party has rubbished the allegations. In a statement, the Aam Aadmi Party said that more than half of the cases filed by the ED and the CBI against the party have been dismissed in courts.
Another day, another flashpoint between the Aam Aadmi Party and the BJP. With another alleged scam, is the BJP making it difficult for the Aam Aadmi Party to wriggle out of corruption charges, even as Arvind Kejriwal seeks to make inroads in election-bound states? With Arvind Gunasekar and camera persons Sushil Rathi and Sanjay Kaushik, Vedant for NDTV.
The other big headline, well, artificial intelligence isn't always the answer to everything. Ask Google, because their new AI chatbot, Bard, came up with a blooper which led to a $100 billion wipeout of its parent company, Alphabet's share value.
Yes, Sonia, with conversational AI being all over the news and Google rushing to launch their own tool called Bard, there was a bit of a goof up. In their announcement online, which advertises the release of Bard, the AI bot is asked, what new discoveries from the James Webb Telescope can I tell my 9-year-old about? To which the conversational AI responds with multiple answers, including one suggesting that the James Webb Telescope was used to take the very first pictures of a planet outside the Earth's solar system. But this is factually incorrect, as the first pictures were taken by the European Southern Observatory's Very Large Telescope way back in 2004, much earlier than the James Webb Telescope was even a thing. And this has been confirmed by NASA. This has led to Google's shares sliding and losing close to $100 billion in market value, and maybe highlighting how their chatbot is not prepared to compete directly with ChatGPT, which is being incorporated into Bing by Microsoft. Google has long been known to be very meticulous in its approach to AI, and that approach is often slow. This mess-up could be indicative of the fact that the company is feeling the heat from its competitor, Microsoft. Back to you, Sonia.
Well, coming up on February the 14th isn't just Valentine's Day, but a suggestion from the Animal Welfare Board of India. What about hugging a cow instead?
The Animal Welfare Board of India has issued a notice appealing people of India to celebrate 14th February as Cow Hug Day. Now we came out to have a taste of what it feels like to celebrate the Cow Hug Day. But first, let's buy a present for a cow. Let's go. But I don't think she likes it. So consent is important. No. Well, I tried hugging the cow, but certainly I'm not the right kind of guy for it. I thought I might uninstall Tinder and Bumble, but certainly that's not what's going to happen. With camera person Sanjay Kaushik, Tanish Punjabi for NDTV.